In our world today, an astonishing number of cars are being launched every 6 months or so. These come in different varieties of specifications, functions, and designs, but only some of these cars are accepted by the public. Today in this video, we'll be seeing such 10 most evil cars that should be banned from the public. But before we move on to the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, press on the bell icon for more updates. Number 10. Lotus Evija. British automobile manufacturer Lotus unveiled the Lotus Evija in July 2019, and it was the first electric vehicle manufactured by Lotus. The car is powered by a 70 kWh battery pack and has 4 electric motors placed at each wheel and their single-speed planetary gearboxes. This combination puts out 1,970 horsepower and 1,254 pounds-feet of torque. The Evija has 20-inch magnesium wheels up front and 21-inch in the rear. Lotus claims that the hypercar can accelerate from 0 to 62 miles per hour in under 3 seconds, 0 to 186 miles per hour in under 9 seconds, and achieve a top speed of 200 mph. Only 130 models will be built, each one costing $2 million. Number 9. Chrysler SEBRING 2007. The 2007 Chrysler SEBRING received a lot of flack when it first came out. DCX must be trying to kill Chrysler with Camry and a quart out there. Who will put such a tired dog on the market? Really, how lucrative can rental cars be? Writer Johnny Lieberman said in a review of the Sebring. When it was released in late 2006, Karen Driver said the Sebring is one of the most miniature appealing cars in its class, completing last in a recent driver and car comparison test. The engines have yet to refine the handling in a 4-cylinder mid-sized sedan significantly. The ride is mediocre and the interior quality is substandard. It does not even look that good, which is saddening given that Chrysler used to have a reputation for great styling, not to mention Sebring's handsome predecessor. Number 8. Mitsubishi Mirage 2012. Mitsubishi Mirage is an automobile with a 5-door hatchback body style, with a front-mounted engine powering the front wheels. Its 1.2-liter engine is a naturally aspirated double overhead camshaft 3-cylinder unit that develops 77 bhp of power at 6,000 rpm and the highest torque of 100 Nm at 4,000 rpm. Power is transferred to the wheels through a 5-second manual gearbox. Despite significant work being put into the latest generation of the long-running Mitsubishi Mirage, it received mixed reviews, with many of them being strongly negative. The Telegraph named it among the 10 worst cars ever sold in Britain in its list of 15 new vehicles to avoid, and Street.com ranked it number 3 in its list of the 10 worst cars of all time revisited. Number 7. Saturn Ion 2003. The 2003 Ion came standard with a 130 HP DOHC Ecotec i4 engine. The Ion's instrument panel is mounted on top center of the dashboard rather than behind the steering wheel. The Ion is available in sedan and coupe forms. The coupe is called a quad coupe due to the 2 smaller rear opening suicide doors behind the front doors. Unlike its critically and successfully acclaimed predecessor, the Saturn S series, and the Saturn Ion based on the GM Delta platform gained largely negative reviews for its poor design, quality, and driving dynamics. It was considered a reason for the downfall of the once successful Saturn marque discontinued by its parent company General Motors in 2010. The Ion was popular for its safety, quality, and construction issues, which led to a total of 12 recalls. Number 6. Jeep Commander 2006. The Jeep Commander is a 3-row SUV based on the Jeep Grand Cherokee that was launched in 2006. The Commander was a sales failure that was discontinued after 4 years on the market and has received bad retroactive ratings. It was released at the outset of the 2000s oil crisis. The Commander was called one of the 10 worst cars of the 2000s by Consumer Guide, described it as the big brother Jeep's Grand Cherokee never wanted, and noted that even with its smallest V6 engine, it only returned 14 mpg in testing on the 10 worst Jeep vehicles. The Commander was criticized for its poorly built interior and crowded feeling in all 3 rows of seats. Chrysler CEO Sergio Marchionne was among the harshest critics of the Commander. Soon after taking over the corporation, he halted manufacturing. Instead of it, that vehicle was unfit for human use when sold some. Still, we need to find out why people also buy go-ahead headlights. Number 5. Chevrolet SSR 2006. Launched in 2003, the Chevrolet SSR was a retro-styled hot rod pickup truck based on the Chevrolet Trailblazer. SSR models with the standard 4-speed automatic deliver 395 horsepower or 5,700 RPM. The torque is rated at 4,000 RPM for both manual and automatic transmission SSR models. Even though it was really popular, the car suffered a commercial failure and gained lasting critical derision due to its trailblazer origins and average performance. Named one of the 50 worst cars of all time by Time magazine, Daniel described it as being underpowered, heavy, and unforgivably lazy. Number 4. Renault SATIS. Renault's other attempt to tap into the market was a more typical but oddly designed four-door hatchback limousine called SATIS. Under the hood, Renault offered 2 gasoline and 3 diesel units. All of them were front-wheel drives, and the automatic transmission was with 4 gears. The rear suspension featured a beam axle, a unique feature for the premium segment. All of the other competitors offered independent rear suspension. It also received some praise for its high level of comfort. Still, its road handling was considered poor, and its build was often ridiculed as designer Patrick Leigh Clement was primarily interested in the present rather than elegance. What's the worst French car ever? It's the Renault SATIS, and overpriced under a luxurious banner. Number 3. Dodge Caliber 2007. A small hatchback that replaced the critically acclaimed and successful Dodge Neon for the 2007 model year was a sales disappointment that critics panned. 3 4-cylinder engines are available on the 2007 Dodge Caliber. Front-drive SXT and SE models came standard with a 1.9-liter 4-cylinder engine rated at 145 horsepower and 125 pound-feet of torque. The Dodge Caliber is easy to identify thanks to its peculiar styling cues. Up front, it has the style of Dodge's big Ram truck with its huge headlights, crosshair grille, and buff fender flares. Its styling, cheap, and poorly made interior, poor performance, and unrefined powertrains were all targeted for scorn. If DCX is to rally its broad-ups and remain competitive in these fuel-conscious times, it will have to do better than this. They ultimately named the Caliber as one of their 10 worst autos of 2009, and a review of the updated 2010 model said that the Caliber is a vehicle that many folks would justifiably contemplate being a loser car from a loser car company. Number 2. Pontiac GTO 2003. In 2003, Pontiac revived the once thriving GTO muscle car by importing a slightly upgraded Australian Holden Monaro. This automobile has a 2-door coupe-type body with a front-mounted engine delivering power to the rear wheels. Its engine is a naturally aspirated petrol, 5.7-liter, overhead valve 90 degrees, V8 cylinder with 2 valves per cylinder. This application produces 350 bhp of power at 5200 rpm and a maximum torque of 495 Nm at 4000 rpm. The power is conveyed to the wheels via a 6-speed manual gearbox from their Corvette in the US. Sales remained far behind expectations, mainly blamed on the car's bland design, comparatively high price, poor quality, and Australian roots. It was also based on the Opel Omega B, which had previously been not successfully imported to the US as the Cadillac Cataract. Number 1. Smart for 2. The Smart for 2 was redesigned when the press had a strong adverse reaction for this model. Consumer Guide Power is considered one of the worst cars of the last 10 years. The energy from the 3-cylinder engine is predictable, but fuel economy is more of a troubling issue. Jalopnik entitled it one of the worst cars of the decade, stating that as 105-inch-long cars go, the 42 is pretty damn good for nothing. This shape and size should drive as well as the 42 does. Here's the problem, every other car on the planet is huge. Autoblog named the 42 on its list as the 20 dumbest vehicles of all time. The Smart 42 is the perfect vehicle for people who like to park. However, if you have to drive anywhere, it would not be a fun trip. With that, we've come to the end of this video. Which of these did you find the evilest of all? Let us know your opinions in the comments below. If you like this video, then you should also make sure to hit on that like button. We'll meet again in another video with exciting content. Until then, bye-bye.